Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Drawbridge. As always, thank you so much for your support on this series. Once again, still doing the daily videos, so 2,000 likes on this one, we'll have another episode tomorrow. And let's jump right into it. So, we've already played this level. This is the one with what could potentially be a bug over on this side here. Basically, I couldn't figure out how to do that one. And yeah, we're going to jump forward and do this one right here, which is called Drawn In. So the budget is 50,000, wood, steel, piston and cables, and then we have the surface van and police car. So these two, then all of the boats after the hydraulic phase, then another hydraulic phase and the other two cars. So it's a straightforward, well actually it's not straightforward in the slightest, is it? Because we have two roads to build. Do we have an unlimited amount? 17 available. Let's see how much that is in total. I'm going to guess we can go all the way across here and all the way across the top. But knowing this game, we might fall one short. Nope. Oh, yep, we do. We fall one short. That's kind of annoying, really, because I'm not sure how this is going to work. But either way, I think what we have to do is connect these two together, create a big structure in the middle, pull them up with some hydraulics. We have 4 hydraulics in total. That's going to be important. And an unlimited amount of steel. We've also got a few cables as well. So, I guess the first challenge here is figuring out what we do with this road, because we're one piece short here. Well, I'm very glad that I noticed it, but the road here isn't required, because you can see there's a little bit of a platform there. That is actually an assumption. Let's start the simulation and see if that's correct. Yes, it can go all the way across, so that's good. So then obviously what we need to do is pick up the bridge with some hydraulics and pull it up enough so there's an angle like this and the boats can go through. So there's going to be split joints here, and this is interesting because we need a split joint on either side at this point right here. And let's just say that it will be fine because there is actually a lot of stuff connecting to this. But let's say it's fine and it disconnects there. Then we have this bit of road that's got nothing connected to it. So that's the sort of challenge that we face next. And at the moment I can't really quite see how it is we're supposed to fix that. Unless this road, I was thinking, is sort of separate anyway by default. So let's say we remove that and then we get rid of the grids and we add a little piece of road. We have to add it to something first, don't we? Right, and then there's only one piece of road to work with. So let's say we do that. Then we go for road, we bring it down here. And again, I've done that wrong. So bear with me. Let's bring down some wood to this area and now let's build a road. Okay, so from there to there we delete this and then we drag this as close as we can and try and get it completely level. Okay, that's as close as that goes. So let's add some wood like this. Not saying that's the correct way for it to work, but will the car be able to drive across? It can. And then it all falls apart. That's actually quite hilarious. Well, it looks like there might be some promise with this. If we pull it back a little bit and maybe raise it up a touch, that looks like it's slightly higher. That might help. Oh, it just about helped. Okay, so we can do that. And it looked like it was about to fall apart as well. That's interesting. But then the next thing is for us to pull this up. So when we do that, this bit right here can no longer connect to that bit because this entire section is going to be moving back on itself. But yes, I think we can make this work. Okay, so this is what'll work in theory, and that's provided that these road bits don't collide with one another. So what we're going to do is start the simulation. When we get across, we're going to watch it at the slowest speed possible, which apparently is 0%. Let's go to 20, and now let's zoom in as well. Wow, that's kind of like frame by frame there. Interesting. These little effects here, though, aren't affected by that. Right, so where does it break? That bit across there, that's kind of where I thought it was going to break. Yeah, because there's no way that structure would have realistically worked. And also, I think this being slightly uneven might affect the the structure here, the strength of it. So I think now it's a case of finding out which bits and bobs we need to replace with iron bars, and then we've got to keep it under budget. So 50,000 is the limit, and I reckon a lot of this is going to need steel. So I'll do all the trial and error. I'll just keep simulating it over and over until we get enough steel. Oh wow, I did not expect that to work so soon. Does it lower as well? It does. Fascinating. Okay, let's go back a step here. I replaced a lot of this with steel. Didn't do like one at a time and test it like I'd normally do. Just decided to do a whole lot. So potentially that could be smaller on the budget with less iron. We may not even need this little bit of support up here, you know. Let's see this thing in action and then let's try and maybe reduce the budget a little bit. So it holds up pretty well. I've got a feeling it doesn't even need to pull in that far as well. And then back down it goes. Lots of stress on the bottom bits, that's no surprise. And then across go the cars. Do you know, I'm going to be fascinated to see how other people have done... Oh, that bit there broke. How other people have done this level. I was just thinking, you know, this solution in the middle, I'm not sure if, you know, that's going to be a common thing or not. So I'm going to have to go check out some other people doing this. Alright, we've done that level. Let's see what happens when we delete all of this off the top, though. If it will still hold together. That seems to be good. Let's just speed this thing right up. Do it as fast as possible, because we know how the bridge works. Back down it goes. Those go across. Yes, it was completely unnecessary. And that thing didn't break either. So now we've got the lowest budget score. That's terrific. And pretty low on these other ones as well. We might be able to reduce it further again. I'll tell you what, if we don't skip on to the next level, that's because... Sorry, no, that was poorly worded. I'm going to skip on to the next level if I can't reduce the score here. So I'm going to try and yeah, remove some more materials and see if we can get away with something even better. Okay, we have reduced the budget and the footprint as well, which is pretty good. I lowered the size of this thing at the top, replaced some materials with wood, and you know, I could probably take it a little bit further, but that was cool to reduce the score there. So, new high score, pretty much. Let's go on to the next level then. So this one is called Elevator. We've got a budget of 20,000, wood, steel, piston, suspension and cable, surfer's van, and hydraulic phase happen at the same time. So, the answer is in the name there. We have to build an elevator. And I'm just wondering, is this thing going to drive, stop, and drive, or is it just going to drive all the way over? Let's see. We have unlimited road. That's interesting. See, what we could do is effectively build straight into the wall there, and then it would ride into it as this thing slowly comes up. We're going to have to build like a pulley system as well, aren't we? Right, so let's evenly distribute the road. Is that a little bit better? That's going to be a split joint. Yeah, we're going to do it this way for now. I'm going to go with steel just because I can't help but feel we'll need that sort of support. Alright, so that seems quite nice. I reckon we can make it a little bit smaller in general. There we go. And now, how are we going to get this thing to come up? We can use... I think we might need to use 2 sets of hydraulics, otherwise it's going to wobble back and forth, especially with this weight on it. So 2 sets is probably a must. So let's say we have one like that, and another one here, because it's got to go up a long way, doesn't it? Yeah, this one could be real challenging. They're set to shrink as well, so then we need steel beams like this, and we're over budget. Wow. I would like to go ahead and continue with what we're doing anyway, just to see if we were on the right path or not. But that budget thing's a bit of a point, isn't it? Okay, can you come over into that area, and can they all connect? No, it seems like it's probably just out of range, isn't it? Typical. Okay, we'll make like an extra triangle somewhere then. This is terribly over budget. Out of money completely. What if we made all of this a bit... Ooh. Made all of this a... Why is that... Why is that moving... That doesn't make any sense to me. Why is it moving the background? Oh, it's because it's using money and then it's defaulting to the other thing. Alright, so that's probably not going to go like that, is it? Okay, so that's probably not terribly good. Right. So it didn't come up far enough is the first thing that we've learnt there. It also came up too fast. Let's put this speed down to 100 or near there. Right, so then that means this thing has initially got to be lower for that to land on it, and then we need more than 2 sets of these, right? Or possibly we lift it in the middle somehow. So, I think I've made too many calamitous attempts like this that don't really go anywhere. And then after a while it kind of occurred to me that I think what we're supposed to do is actually put our elevator over here. So we would have a road come out of the side, which we can prop up with some steel. I'll do this all properly in a moment, and then, you know, something above as well. Or actually we could use the same anchor point, so that would, yeah, that would make life a lot easier, wouldn't it? We'd put some wood up here, do the basic support thing, and the old copy and paste come in here, very handy. And then we could connect that together over to that anchor point, so that might work out well. Maybe a cable would hold that up. Yeah, and then that would be quite cheap as well. Let's have a look. Okay, it needs some work, but that could potentially be the way that we do that. And then what we've got to do, and this is going to be quite tricky, is I think build a sort of cage around this thing. So let's turn the grid off for this one. I believe that will detach straight away. There we go. We also might need some sort of stopping system on the front of it. I haven't thought this through 100% if you couldn't tell. And we also need it to be sort of weight distributed. This is actually going to be really tough, but we will try it anyway. So let's say we give it a little frame like so. It's not supposed to be terribly serious. And then, yep, this won't work. We need to put some cables to either point on either side. Sort of put it below that. That's got a better chance of holding it together. And then hydraulics up to here. I still don't think that's going to work, actually. Oh! Okay, so what's going on down here at the split joint? That one's trying to stay connected. Got ya. And it still doesn't want to leave. Did I change the wrong number so now they're both connected? Yep. Silly me. Okay, one more try. Well, that didn't work, did it? Oh. Okay, I'm still very much scratching my head as to how we do this one, because even with two sets of hydraulics like this to try and even it out as it pulls it up, it's just gonna, the weight here is always gonna be off on one side, and that's gonna make things tricky. So you can see we can get it up to about this height, and then that's about as high as we get it. So if we wanted these things to be higher, like so, then watch what happens. This is gonna spin around. And disaster. So feels like there's a hard limit as to how high we can pull this thing, and it's not enough. So I'm thinking maybe we have to push upwards now, but again, similar sort of problems are going to emerge, and this is another level where I feel like I don't know what to do. Now this is pretty funny. You can see I've completely run out of ideas here, so I thought, well, what if there was a ramp and we tried to pull it up and it flips it over, but when it comes back it actually goes up a little bit and then it drops back down again and gets stuck. So that one's a nope right there. Okay, I can't quite believe what we're seeing, but this may possibly lead to a solution. So you might be able to figure out what's going on. We've sort of got a pivot point here, and this slack that we have back here gives this thing just enough time to sort of get on to it, although it drops as well. So timing is going to be niche, but then it sort of pulls the thing up high enough. So there is some sort of solution here, but how we get it from this catastrophe into something that works reliably or decently, I don't know. We're also terribly over budget, so what if we mess around with the design of this a little bit, try and save on materials. And the main thing is the activation time. It drops down a little bit, and then it pulls up too quickly. Now, as we add slack to this, it's going to drop down further, but it's going to pull up later, which is sort of what we want as well. Also, this thing keeps collapsing. Let's drag it out even further. It's never going to work, is it? But maybe if we made this down here out of steel as well, it might hold up a little bit more. But even so, if it does, like, we're way over budget, and I have no idea what it was they have intended for us to build here. Maybe there's something different we could be doing up here that uses less materials, but that sort of almost works for a second there. You know, all this slack that we're adding adds a crazy delay, and I'm not sure if that's actually the way that we want to do things. Like, it drops down way too far, doesn't give this thing enough time to get on it. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do. Let's delete that and maybe connect this to that one. No, not like that. Hydraulics, please. Maybe it'd be better if it pulls from a different position. Oh! Well, something different happened, but overall it was still a disaster. This just can't be the way either. I mean... Oh, look at how much steel we've used there. It's about the strongest we can make it. Another thought just occurred to me. Do we have to pull from that place? What if we were to pull from across? Would it create some different sort of tensions? Like, what about that? That flung it up into the air. That's kind of crazy. Alright, let's add a little bit more slack there. See if we can... Oh, we're out of money. Great. If we make the whole size of this thing smaller, though, we'll free up lots of money. And then add some more slack. Almost works for a second, then it falls apart. Crazy, crazy stuff. Yeah, I don't think there's too much to this idea. So it's been over an hour, and that's kind of a ridiculous amount of time to spend playing this game. Too addicted to it, basically. Can't seem to say no. Here's the thing. I've got about as far as this. We can lift this thing all the way up to that height, and you can see it almost connects with it, but it doesn't seem to be a way to get the timing right. I've tried quite a few different things. If I just lower the front of that, you'll see it'll be able to drive off the edge. Maybe that wasn't enough. Let's try a bit more. And I just can't get the timing right, so it drives off, you know, once it gets up here, and I don't think there is a way to time that. It either drives off or it doesn't. And this is about the closest we've got. And I can't think of another way to do this. I guess there's maybe one more thing that we could try, which would be to have 2 sets of hydraulics going straight up to that. That takes us over budget, and the car didn't drive off, which is strange because we didn't adjust that, did we? Right, now it drives forwards, and that's about the closest I've got, but I'm going to have to pass on this one. I really dislike passing, but I mean, otherwise I'm going to be doing this forever, it looks like. So I'll come and revisit that at another time. We tried to do elevator, so now we've got triple dump drawbridge. Right. Okay, so we've got 2 that want to go... Oh no, wait. A1 and A2 want to go to the middle, and B wants to go all the way across. Right. So wood, steel, piston, suspension and cables. We've got a dump truck, hydraulic phase, then another dump truck. Not 100% sure how that's going to work, but I think it's a case of just open the drawbridges and then close them, right? So I think it would probably be best to have some support from down below on this side, and that'll bring it across, you know, halfway. And then with these 2 anchor points, we could create something like a triangle here, and then have this like suspension pull up the bridges, so we'll be pulling them up from one side. That's what we're going to try here. So I've been messing around with this for a while. We are over our budget, well over halfway of our budget, because this is just 1/2 of the bridge. So I was hoping I could reduce the size. I started to test it, and then I noticed something, which is that the truck goes from this side as well. So they both go to the middle and then park in the middle, and then B wants to go all the way over to that side. So I want to look at the level info again, because it's dump truck and dump truck, hydraulic phase, dump truck and large paddle boat, and large paddle boat. So B will actually go when the paddle boats come through as well. So what I've been building this whole time is not suitable for what we're trying to do right now, so I can scrap this, but it still raises an interesting question. What on earth is it they want us to do here? These things are very heavy, by the way. I don't know what I think, because the hydraulics happens at the same time the paddle boats come. No, the hydraulic phase will happen, and then the dump truck and large paddle boats will go through. So, yeah, somehow we've got to change this bridge and make it so these 2 park in the middle while the other one goes from one side to the other, and the boats are going through. It is pretty ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know how to do this. Okay, having given it much thought, I think I'm onto something here. We need to look at this bit in the middle like it's a parking spot and not like it's part of the bridge. And that is slightly wonky, which I do not like. Let's try all of that again. I've accidentally turned on the grid. Yeah, some of this needs to be built with the grid off, I think. But you'll see that that bit right there in the middle is perfectly attached to the grid. So let's just make sure we're aiming right at the center. Bam. So if we have something like that, and then we have a couple of drawbridges that sort of drop down onto it, they'll probably be 3 along. So actually it'd be kind of like the equivalent of something like that. and then it drops down, it means that the second one gets to go all the way over the top of both of them. So that looks like a solid idea in my opinion. And I think getting this thing to be stable is going to be very, very difficult. I don't think we can get away with putting steel underneath because this is too close in the middle. So what we'll probably go for is steel above. And because these are these types of trucks, I've got a feeling it's going to take a while to get for something that's sturdy. But we'll start off with triangles. Okay, these two little bridges have been holding out. I had to lower the middle bit down by 1 because otherwise the truck couldn't get up the slope. And they are seriously like wonky. And then as for our drawbridges on the top, I hope this is high enough, but you can see how I've propped it up. It's also going to contract by 50%. And that sounds like way too much. I want it to be about 20%. Let's go with 29 since that one popped up. On this side we'll do 29, there we go, we got it, awesome. Right, let's start the simulation. And I don't think that's going to be high enough, but check it out, here come the trucks, and wow, they didn't clip it, that's good. They park in the middle, and then that happens, yes, yeah, why wouldn't that happen? So this angle right here is not good, is it? Because as soon as that moves in a little bit, the end's got to move in a lot. Interesting, Maybe we could, oh, not delete that steel. Maybe we could prop it up from the bridge. This would probably be bad, but we'll give it a try. What if we propped it up like there, and then made it come down by like 21%? It's going to take us several attempts, but there we go. 23 on that side, 21 on the other one, and wow. Okay, very bad idea. Very bad idea. Okay, this attempt almost succeeds. These are set to shrink by 17%. You can see we've sort of redone the structure in the middle a little bit because of that. Let's speed it up. Bam, and then slow it down. So you can see, if we zoom in a little bit here, that the road is slightly above. And I'll tell you now, it isn't going to work. It gives away somewhere around there, and it all falls apart. So then I'm thinking, okay, that doesn't work. What about... perhaps the problem is we're sort of supporting it from the very back. We need to support it from the middle or the end, somewhere like there. So what if we had a cable up here? And this might actually... no, this won't. I'm pretty sure this won't work, but I want to see what happens. This is definitely going to fall over, isn't it? Yeah, something like that, and then have that shrink, and then these lower. But that needs to be like held in the middle, and I don't know how to do that unless we have two hydraulics going there. We need to move that down a couple. Bam, and then let's say we contract those by like 19% there. Can we get the same one on this side? 19%. Well, that actually, this might actually work. This will be amazing if it does. Let's speed it up and slow it down. Right, that looks kind of solid, except it hasn't lowered enough. And I think the smaller this triangle is, the more of an issue it's going to be. So what we'll need to do is make this thing higher up and sort of build a platform above. So all of this support that we've got right here, we actually want to have on the top side. Okay, we're set to shrink by 42% on either side. Once again, speed it up and it falls apart. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. So finally it is done. This is the layout, and I gotta say, when this game gets tough, it makes me feel so unproductive. I've been playing this for way too long. Put about an hour into this level, just trying things over and over again, tweaking and tuning and revising, and finally we have something that works. And yeah, it breaks that bit right there. No matter what I do, I can't seem to stop it from breaking it. And on the other side it doesn't though, so when it leaves it's a lot less stress. And there you go, just about under budget. Not a terribly great completion for this level. But that's going to be it for this episode. As I said in the beginning of this video, 2,000 likes for another episode tomorrow. 6-pack, this one looks really interesting. Can't wait to play that, but that's it from me at this video. Thank you as always so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.